me today. My name is Annabelle Pacheco. I am an investor and a real estate broker. I've been in business for 24 years. And really the goal of this event and what I do is to share with each one of you in detail the 8 steps that I took in purchasing my first multifamily deal in hopes that you guys can also do the same. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm not selling anything, I'm not offering anything, and I'm definitely not a financial advisor. I am just here sharing my story with you in hopes that you guys can use this platform to share any kind of information that maybe you think might help someone else, and vice versa, just a platform for all of us to learn from each other. Let me next screen. So now I started in real estate or in the mortgage industry back in the mid 90s. I've purchased over 100 properties throughout my career. We pretty much rehabbed, fixed, flipped. I did keep some of those, rented them out, leased them out for some time, but the majority has definitely been in flips. In 2001, I built a 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had a staff of about 15 people, including managers, chefs, and servers, and ran that for about 8 years, sold it, and was probably the best day of my life when I was able to turn over the keys to someone else. Very, very sacrificing, hard business to do, and really having that experience, I've appreciated how nice real estate and especially real estate investing is. In the last 10 years, I have focused my business in just 100% representing clients in both residential and commercial real estate. Now, back in 2010, I purchased my first multifamily property, which was 34 units that we got in Texas, Grand Prairie, Texas. Now, I was looking for a way to create cash flow and generational wealth, which I'm sure many of you are also looking to do. And here are the reasons why I invested in multifamily property, and I really do hope that it inspires you to do the same. Okay, so number one was cash flow. We were really looking for a way to just create income while we were sleeping. And for those of you that may not know, just cash flow is your rental income minus all your expenses. That's what you're making on a monthly basis from your multifamily property. Number two was having all these tenants pay off my loan. That was something that was super exciting, and we were looking, just looking forward to acquiring. And the third step was appreciation, that we thought, okay, we're buying a property today, and we have tenants that are paying down the mortgage, and over the long run, this property is going to appreciate. And number 4 was tax benefits, right? Depreciation, that we could use a portion. Basically, you can use a portion of the physical structure each year as an expense, depreciate it there from your taxes. And then the most common and really just incredible one is the 1031 exchange, which it allows you to defer your capital gain taxes. No limits whatsoever. You can do this 2, 3, 4 times, as many times as you want. Eventually, you will have to pay, or someone will have to pay those capital gains, but while you're creating capital, you can do your 1031 exchange. So I'm going to give you guys an example of what happened to me, and honestly, it just worked out, and I think that I scored a home run, and they're not as easy to find nowadays, but they're definitely out there. And you just have to work hard at trying to find one of these, but they're out there. And it's what we call a value add multifamily property. So I purchased a property for $850,000. I put down 350, and the seller actually carried a note for 2 years on the remaining balance of the 500,000. Now I want you guys to know that this property was listed on LoopNet. Nowhere did it say that the seller would carry a note. Nowhere did it say anything of what I'm going to share with you guys right now. So just from being in real estate and representing many other clients and learning how to negotiate, you know, when it came to, it was my turn now and I decided I'm going to purchase multifamily, you know, I just asked the seller if they would be interested in carrying a note. And he said, yes, it made total sense for them. They were probably making more money from the note than they were from the rental income they were collecting there. Because when I bought that property, since I mentioned it was a value add, that property needed a lot of work. It needed to be remodeled. And what we did when we purchased this property is he gave us 2 years and he allowed us the time to remodel and update those units. And so what we did in that 2-year period, we went in and we did it in I want to say in groups. So maybe like 5 at a time. We started updating kitchens. And remodeling the property so that we can increase the rents. So Don, to answer your question, what does a note mean? So the note means that the seller financed, instead of me going out and getting a loan from the bank, he gave me a loan and we refer to it as a note. And I had specific terms with the owner directly that I made payments to him. My mortgage payments went to him instead of a traditional bank. And it was a lot easier. As my first transaction, it was a lot easier to have the seller finance for me than it was to actually go to a bank. I hope that answers your question. Perfect. All right. So we remodeled and updated. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, just jump in. It's easier than putting it on the chat because I sometimes don't see it, but just you can jump in and interrupt, not a problem.
I have a question.
We increased all the rents in the units, and by the second year, we were able to refinance the property. It appraised at $1.6 million. All I needed was really $1 million. I got back my initial down payment, and I got back money, you know, the repair costs that I had spent on the property. And today, this property, I have zero invested in it. And the value of this property today is 2.7. So in I purchased it in 2010. I'm sorry, 2015 is when I purchased the property. We definitely have appreciated a lot. Yes. So it was awesome. It's been great. And, you know, they're out there. You cannot find them. And again, I had to grow. I want you guys to understand. I had to go through a lot of properties to find this one. But when you guys are out searching, like you've made your mind that you're gonna buy multifamily, and you're out there searching for that and looking for that, and you have your criteria, you have your budget, you have these things in your mind, you will find it. You just have to go out there and look for it. It's not easy, but they're out there. And I know that I've mentioned in other sessions, which I'm not going to get into that today because I have a different topic, but connect with other real estate agents, connect with other multifamily investors, talk to people, ask them, you know, how did they find their property? What did they do? And this is how you will learn. And this is how you can implement this when you guys are out looking for your own property.
Can I ask a question about how you
Any questions so far?
Yeah, can you hear me? This is Nick. Can you hear me,
Don't
Annabelle?
be shy. I need you guys to definitely ask questions because I know this is a lot of information.
This is Nick. Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
So here's a picture
Annabelle?
of the property
Annabelle?
that I own. It's 34
She can't hear
units, 2 buildings. This building that you see right here has 24 one-bedroom, 1-baths, upstairs and downstairs. And then this is the front building, which is townhome style properties, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and there's 10 of these. And we went in and, you know, like I said, in groups of 5s, we tried remodeling the unit so that by then they were all ready and we could just increase rents and move and move on. Anyway, so today
Annabelle?
I am talking about step number 8, which is managing your multifamily property. So this is really important when you purchase multifamily property. You have to decide if you're going to self-manage this property or if you're going to hire a management.
Sorry, I was gone for a minute.
And
Can you
in
hear
my
us, Annabelle?
case, I decided that I was going to
No.
self-manage, and I created a team. I felt that 34 units was just not enough for me to hire a management company and pay them, you know, their fees. It just didn't make sense. I thought that, you know what, I know enough. I understand how this works, and I think that we can hire someone and have them run our property. Now, mind you, I live in California. My property is in Texas. So what we did is we decided we hired someone that would live on the property. So we give them a discount on their rent, and she's there 24/7. And that's really what we wanted because we're far away and we needed to make sure that we had someone. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
We can
You
hear
guys hear
you.
me?
Can you hear us?
Someone is saying you can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can't hear Nick. I cannot. You is Nick trying to say something? Let's see here.
Yes.
Everyone is muted. Like to ask. Let me make sure. Let me see what's going on here. If everyone is muted. Not on my end. Everyone's mic is open on my end.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, Mike. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me, Annabelle?
Oh, maybe it's this. I can't. They can hear me. I can't hear them. Maybe it's this.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mike.
Yes. That's the YouTube show. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you, Mike.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys now.
Okay.
Now, how do we get rid of this?
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Just give me a second. I'm trying to figure something out with my YouTube live. Now, how do we get rid of this?
Okay.
Go to your YouTube live right now. No. We can just play with it afterwards because if we don't, then.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think I can now. I can hear you guys. All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Better before.
I can't do this. I think we're gonna have to turn off this.
Someone has on 2 devices? Better before.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to go live on YouTube, and for some reason it's echoing, and I'm not able
It's
to.
already.
Okay, I think
Just keep going.
you guys can hear me now.
Yes, better.
Can you guys hear me better now? Let me put the volume up.
Yes, clearer. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys perfectly fine.
Okay, the sound, the noise is gone.
Yeah, okay. Mike, I just want to make sure, can you hear me? Or can you say something so that we can make sure that you are heard? You can hear me? Perfect. Okay. Okay, so all right, cool. Everybody can hear me? Great. Let me get out of that. We'll go back. So let's see here. Where was I? Okay. So in managing your multifamily property, what I was saying is I decided that we would self-manage it. It just didn't make financial sense for us to hire a company, pay the money. That was money that we thought, all right, it would cost us, our out-of-pocket expense would be a lot less and we could manage it. So what we did was we hired a full-time on-site manager. We gave her a discount on her rent, and there was also a tenant who has lived on this property for forever, and we hired him to be our maintenance, just our handyman as well. Both of these individuals got discounted rent, and they get a minimal amount. I mean, we paid them, but it's not the same as it would be if I had hired a management company. So what I do want to, I want you guys to just understand that you have to have a really good relationship with your tenants, and you have to make sure that you also select the right tenants. So a lot of this has to do with how you screen your tenants. And I'm not saying that if you run a background check and if you run their credit, it means it's going to be perfect, but it definitely helps make a better decision if this is the type of tenant you want to have on your property. So I made a list of a couple of questions that I think are important that you should ask the tenant that is looking to rent at your place. So one of them is, why are they moving? Right? You want to look for answers like, hey, we need more space, or I'm changing jobs. The second question would be like, have you ever been evicted? And if they answer yes, you automatically know that's a red flag. In this as well, I also always let them know ahead of time that we will be running a background or a credit check. Okay. You also want to ask them what their monthly income is. You want to make sure that it's between 2.5 to 3 times the rent amount. So if your rent is $1,000 a month, you guys need to make sure that they make at least, right, 3,000. So again, these are some of the questions, but again, running credit and checking and background checks, when you let them know from the get-go that you will be doing those two things, if they have something on their credit that they don't want you to know, they're going to automatically tell you, I have, this happened to me X years ago. And then you want more information. I mean, if you completely, like, I'll tell you, our place is 100%, we're 100% occupied. There's really we've got a wait list. So we're in a position where we can be really, really picky. And if you just let them know up front and you say, hey, I'm going to be running a background check and a credit check, everything good. And if they say no, then you don't even have to waste your time. But if you're in a situation where you're trying to rent out the units, that's where you may have to be a little more flexible. You'll have to look at what the situation is get documentation to support whatever it is they're telling you so that you feel better in renting one of the units to them. Any questions so far? You guys are all good? Okay. So I have a little, so choosing the right tenants really, really is critical and will make a huge difference on your property. It'll keep your property safe. It'll keep your tenants really, really happy on this property. And I'm going to share with you what happened when we purchased it. So when we purchased this property, the quality, I guess we could refer to as the quality of tenants that were in there were not good at all. The property was not taken care of. I mean, it really was in need of rehab, attention, in all ways. And so the selection of tenants was not being done. Anybody was being allowed to rent there. So when we came on board, we needed to get rid of these tenants. And so it was very easy for us at that moment because, again, no one had, they were all on a month-to-month. So it was very easy. And like I mentioned, we did it in groups of 5s. And we just got rid of them. And once you're investing all this money in updating, kitchens and bathrooms and your new floorings and paint, and I mean, you're going all out. You're now going to be very picky, right? You're not going to just let anybody in. And so what we did, so let me just go to the next page here. So that you guys can. So one of the things that was really important for us was that we were maintaining our property. So we had already come in, we fixed it up. We're putting in new tenants, increasing rents. So you have to make sure that you are maintaining your property. The managing multifamily apartment requires a little bit more work than just you guys collecting the rent and just paying your operational cost and banking the profits. So as a landlord, you have the responsibility to make sure that your tenants live in a habitable condition. And I can tell you, I've been out, I have looked at so many apartments, and I'm talking about 30 plus units and more, and the condition that they're in are not habitable, yet people are living in them, okay? So, and that's when you start seeing like vacancy rates, right, that are higher because properties are not being taken care of by the landlords. And so one of the things that we definitely paid attention to, and we still do, is making sure that the property is in habitable condition. And and these things here that I've listed are really important issues that you want to take care of. Mold. You see this a lot in multifamily. Mold is something that is addressed immediately. We have our manager do inspections twice a year. So every 6 months, she walks through the properties and you know what? She checks, makes notes, and we address these things before they get worse. Pest control, that's something that's done on a monthly basis. And that is super important because you can't control the cleanliness of tenants. It's impossible. And so you want to make sure that with pest control, they're there regularly taking care of that. Number 2, repairing any kind of damaged structural features that need to be addressed. You don't want to have anything that could potentially be at risk for someone to get hurt or just any kind of damage. So we're always making sure that those things are addressed. The roof, I mean, this is something that actually we had no choice. We had I want to say a couple of years ago, there was a huge strong winds and rain, and it just lifted off our roof. And when we purchased the property, the roof had been redone, and the owner didn't use, it wasn't like a roofer. It was who knows who did the roof, and they used the wrong nails on the roof. So the insurance company did not cover it because the installation of the roof was not properly done. So that was our out-of-pocket expense. So we had to replace 2 roofs. We did one building at a time, but it cost us a lot of money. So these are things that we didn't, you know what, we thought, all right, it was done. They weren't properly done. Let's fix it right. Let's make sure that if this ever happens again, we have wind or rain, heavy rain, that if it does fall off or flies off, that the insurance will cover it. And then fixing appliances when they break. This is huge. You know, apartments there's constantly stuff that needs to get taken care of. And we try to just buy new appliances so that we don't have to deal with this as much as we would probably do if you buy used appliances. And we try, I always recommend, in wherever you guys decide you buy, find a local appliance company or a little store. They can get really good prices on appliances, and it's so much cheaper to just buy a brand new one than it is to have someone to come out and fix it. Maybe 2 times or 3 times they come out and they fix it, you might as well have bought a brand new one in there for the tenants. All right. Any questions? I need you guys to participate. Ask me some questions.
And appliances, do you suggest or recommend using our company that basically insurance, a company that you can pay for the fixtures? Like, for instance, Sears has this maintenance, you pay a year, and any electrical appliance in a house, they'll come and fix if it goes down.
I think you have to be very careful with that, because that's great for maybe one single home. I mean, I have 34 doors. The cost of that insurance on 34 doors, we have to figure out, like, does it make financial sense?
Okay.
Just to give you an example, like an appliance range, for example, I think we can put one in there for $300, $350. And if you buy insurance, you're probably paying, I don't know, $600 a year for that insurance.
Yes.
Right. Multiply that by, I don't know,
34.
34.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, right?
True.
So I think like in our situation, it just makes sense to get, a brand new appliance. We work out a deal. It's a local, small appliance store near our property that the manager knows and the handyman knows. And when something like this happens, if it's assessed. You have to assess it first. I mean, is it really beat up? Is it just doesn't make sense to even try to fix? If it doesn't, we just buy a new one, put it in, and you know what? You just bought yourself a year or 2 years of no headache. Hope that helps.
I got
Yes.
a question, Annabelle.
Yes.
Hey, listen, today, first, 2 questions. What prompted you to buy out of state, number 1, and number 2, would you buy in California today, multifamily?
So the pricing in California it just doesn't make financial sense for me. I was limited with the cash that I had, and I picked up 34 units for $850,000. I couldn't do that here in California. There's just nothing at all. And I bought, honestly, and when I bought, the market was not the way that it is today, and I didn't even ever think that it would appreciate this much, because Texas was not a state that property appreciated. I bought with just the mentality of, okay, it's cash flow that I'm looking for, and eventually, it would appreciate, but I didn't think it would double or triple. Would I buy in California? No, not at all. Not at all. I'm not even looking in California. You know, there's just this, California is just too tenant friendly for me. And I don't want to be in a tenant friendly state. I want to be in a just a normal, like, hey, I want to operate my property, and I try to take my experience of, you know, maintaining a property and just doing that and for tenants and keeping them happy, and they're there. We have had zero problem with occupancy. I mean, we're full, and they love it. You know, it's a small little community. They love it. If someone's going to leave, they already know someone that wants to move in there.
Terrific. Okay, thanks.
Now, do you own any multifamily?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Are you looking to buy?
Possibly, yeah. I just sold one in East LA and to a buyer, and he got a really good deal on it. And you know, he got lucky. We worked on it for months, but
How many units?
it was 3. It was zoned as a single family because the 2 back units were illegal, but there was a bank loan involved with 3% down, and the appraiser did a good job on it. It was listed for about 500. My buyer got it for 535. Most of the 3-unit, so he's going to legalize it and expand it, but most of the 3-unit properties in Boyle Heights and East LA that are in a decent area and in decent shape on a good street today are going for, you know, 750. So he made money going in, I believe, but the reasoning was it was not zoned as a triplex or 3 on a lot. It was zoned as single family. That's how it was marketed. And, you know, the value was added just in the fact that he purchased the property.
Wow, that's
Uh,
great. So
yes.
so is the property zoned as a triplex or a 3, or it's not
Single
at all?
family, single family residence.
Yeah.
But in East LA and Boyle Heights, that's the norm over there. You have a lot of different configurations of
Right.
units, converted garages, et cetera, on the property on a small lot. So,
So
but
is he going to, he's planning to build 2 more units in there?
it's going to expand the 2 units in there, yeah.
So is he going to do them as accessory dwelling unit, or is he doing it as, is he going to try and get a variance
Whatever,
of the zone?
whatever works for him, whatever works for him in the county,
Yeah,
he will do that. He's a pretty sharp guy. He's a young guy.
yeah,
It's his first investment property. I want to talk to them about turning some of their other properties that have low cash flow and that are free and clear. They own 18 properties. 95% of them are free and clear.
Wow. Okay, well, maybe I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah, you know, they really need to configure some of that into some apartment buildings and
Yeah.
get higher cash flow and a bigger write-off because of the
Correct.
paper write-off on that. So,
Right.
you know, I've been working with these buyers, him and his father, for a couple of years now, and I've sold them a couple of properties. But something that I want to get into, because the opportunity is certainly there. And, you know, in California, I think they want to invest in California. They don't really want to go out of state. And it was an owner, fortunately for this buyer, it was an owner occupied property as a single family, which made sense for him at the time.
Correct.
The other properties are different, so.
Right. Well, I mean, I have clients, I sold 3, it was a total of about 12 or 15 units. It was like, let's see, a 4, a 6, a 4, and a 5, and in like the Atwater area, Atwater Village area there. And everyone, we sold. The buyer is suing my seller, and because he bought the property, was fully occupied, and 2 tenants will not vacate. And it's been years already, and those 2 tenants are still in the property. They've offered plenty of money for their.
You're frozen.
You guys hear me?
She's frozen.
Your video stopped.
My video.
right when you said he bought the property.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, you guys heard, where did it end? I'm sorry.
The seller was, the buyer was suing the seller. I think that's what you said. Yeah.
Yes. 2 tenants out of 14, 15 units, 2 still remain in the property. Everybody else left. They got their cash for keys. The 2 have not left. They've offered them, a considerable amount of money, and they've not left. And so now they're trying to use any excuse and whatever excuse possible that the seller didn't disclose or that the seller didn't do this. And I made sure that we went through everything with the buyers and sellers. But the the tenants those 2 tenants are still there. How do you handle that? How do they handle that? I mean, they have tenants, right?
My people?
Yeah, your people.
Yeah, so there's tenants there. He's going to check into rent control. And, the thing with rent control in Los Angeles is if they have children, and I've been there a long time, it can get into thousands, tens of thousands of cash for keys. He's going to work with them as best he can. He's going to live in one of the units. He's going to attempt little by little to get possession of the property and get them out of there so we can remodel, rehab the property.
Right.
Add on to the rear guest house in the back, double the size of the property, and probably certainly double the value of it. But that's what he wants to do. There's eviction attorneys that specialize in this, and if I was a landlord or an owner or working with a client such as an owner, I would have them dealing with somebody that specializes in landlord eviction law in that area. I think there's a guy out there, I think his last name is Block. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I haven't.
He's real popular. He's got some webinars. It seems like a real sharp eviction attorney, and he's having good luck with what's going on out there right now.
Dennis Block?
Yeah, Dennis Block. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Okay, cool. Thank you. Very good. All right. So, let me, any other questions? Thanks, Brian. That helps. All right. So let's go here. So let me continue here with the managing. So aside from, complying with habitability laws, that you want to make sure that everybody is comfortable, the property maintenance also keeps your tenants comfortable and satisfied. And, like I said, happy tenants mean fewer vacancies. So these are generally the 4 types of property inspections that are performed. We have a move-in inspection, we have a move-out inspection, a seasonal inspection, and a drive-by inspection. Okay, these are things that we currently are doing, and I'm sure a lot of other multifamily property owners do. So let me kind of explain move-in inspection. This usually occurs prior to the tenant moving in. So you want to make sure that you walk through the property and that you guys are inspecting, making sure that they understand in the condition that we are handing over that unit. Okay, so we go room by room. You're going to go, kitchen, make sure they understand this is the condition of the range and the refrigerator and cabinets, and we look at floors and blinds, and you are going to walk through. And I also have our manager take pictures of the unit prior to them walking in. So you just want to have as much documentation as you possibly can. The second inspection is a move-out inspection, and this usually occurs when the tenants move out. So you want to make sure that you're going to check everything, that the condition of what they're leaving this unit in, right? Anything that's normal wear and tear is okay, but anything like a damage, like a big damage, those are the things that you're basically going to note on your inspection report, your page, and you will probably end up charging them from their deposit. The third inspection is just a seasonal inspection that's done on the property, right? Depending on the location and where you're at. Just an example here that I put would be like making sure you're cleaning out your gutters, and let's say you're pruning the trees in the area, just or like more than just the normal inspections and stuff that you're going to do of the property. The fourth one is the drive-by inspection. And this just pretty much helps you assess the exterior condition of the property. You know, we're able to see if our handyman or, you know, the person that's there, that's cleaning, taking care of the property is doing the right thing, is doing the right job. We've been out there, and there are times that, you know what, we're not happy with the condition, so we call them out. All right, you need to make sure that when you stand here at the front, I mean, again, now I'm in business, I do this for a living, so I might have a little more, I guess, higher expectations, you know, and I have them stand outside of the, like on the street, and look at the property. And if it doesn't look clean, if it doesn't look proper, then you know what, I want you to do this. And I walk through and I tell them, and the manager knows, because we're, you know, we have weekly meetings with her, and we know what's going on, and we're on top of things. So you have to make sure that even though you have an on-site manager there who is your eyes, you still can't just relax and assume that they're going to take care of it, because at the end of the day, no one's going to do a better job than you will yourself as the owner. So I'm all about, you know, building a good landlord-tenant relationship. I think that it's just critical. And really here, the purpose of investing in real estate to make money is to make money, but success in this venture comes with good landlord-tenant relationship. You guys don't understand how important this is. Nurturing that relationship can just keep your tenants there for a long time. And it just means that, you know what, they will refer more people to your complex. And it's just natural. I mean, I've seen it, you know, they see that, you know, the owner or the landlord is doing such a good job at maintaining and keeping the property up. They love it. They are going to let their friends know, their friends, or maybe the friends just come and visit. They see the complex, they love it, and they're, you know what, we want to move in. And that's what's allowed us to have this nice waiting list. And if someone gives us notice, it's just really easy to go down that list and pick someone and just get them in there. So really, it would be like 30, not even 30 days, right? They move out, we go in there, clean it up, rent it again. So it is very important that, you know what, you do have a good relationship with the tenants and our manager. I guess what's very important is finding someone that is also personable, that knows how to talk to people, that knows how to, you know, just engage and make them feel at home. This really, it's funny, but there is a small community there, and they all look after each other. And that's what you want to create. That way nobody leaves, and you don't have to worry about it. So that helps. And then remember that the first steps to becoming a successful real estate investor is you obviously find the right property, which I did. And if you do start feeling overwhelmed by the management process, then you might consider hiring a multifamily property management company near you. But keep in mind that I always say it's got to make financial sense, right? If you're going to buy 4 units out of state and you're going to hire a property management company, you know, what are they going to charge you? Is that going to eat away your profits? So it's got to make sense. And it just, for us, we were able to manage this property and just establish and create our own, stop sharing here. We were able to create our own little team, and it's worked and it's been successful. We've been doing this for 7 years, and all I could say is it's work. It's definitely work, but it's very, very rewarding. All right. Any questions? Mike, you had a ton of questions. You there? Screen? Can you hear me? You're on mute. You need to unmute yourself. Nope, you're on mute. If you hover or towards the bottom left of your computer, there's a little microphone and a video. Tap on the microphone. Maybe it's your computer volume. You need to, I can't hear you. Can't hear you, sorry. I think it's maybe your computer volume is down. Yeah, sorry, I can't hear you. Well, you can type it up. I can't hear you at all. And let me see. Let me see if I can do something. No. Oh, talk now. Yeah, I think it's your computer. It's your computer volume. Sorry. Yeah, can you guys hear him? No, right?
No, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's gotta be something on your computer. It's probably your computer volume. Well, while he figures that out, are you there? No. Okay, so while he figures that out, any other questions? Anybody currently looking to purchase multifamily out of state, or I'm in California. I don't know if anybody else is from California, but anybody looking to purchase multifamily right now?
This is Anders. I have a question in regards to out of state. What other states than Texas have you been at and buying?
I have only bought in Texas. I am looking out of, I'm looking in Las Vegas right now. Myrtle Beach was an area that was brought up to me. I have not been out in Myrtle Beach. That is a spot that I'm probably going to go visit. They were talking about it, you know, just it interested me. There were some opportunities out there. That's really it. So I personally have not gone out other than Texas. And now I'm actively looking because I am in the process of selling my apartments and trying to see if I can double up on the number of units, or possibly looking at retail and get away from, you know, fixing toilets, because it's definitely also a lot of work. Is anyone on this call, does anyone on this call have any multifamily that they own personally, either 1 to 4 or 4+? Okay. Have you guys, yes, someone was going to say something.
No, I just wanted to thank you for the information you gave the last time concerning looking at the performers and looking in terms of purchasing, because the property I was going to introduce to the group the last time, I looked closely at what you were saying, and I saw a little fine print, and it wasn't in the performers, it was just not actual income that was coming in. It was estimated that it would be. And then in the very fine print, it says, well, you might have to check the bank, you know, the tenant roll. And it says, I'm glad you mentioned that, looking at the tenant roll and looking at all the other financial information. So I want to thank you for that insight.
Well, good. I'm glad I'm glad it helped. Yeah, you guys have to be very careful because a lot of agents that are representing sellers will provide you the pro forma and try to sell you the property at its future value, and you cannot buy a property at its future value. You buy a property at what is it worth today, and then you can, it's that added value. So I'm glad, William, that helped. Yeah, sometimes those documents look too good. They
Yeah.
look too good. Let's see here. Mike,
Thank you.
say that again. Mike, I haven't heard of Branson, Missouri. Actually, wait a minute. Maybe someone did mention that on this call. Branson, Missouri. Has anybody heard of Branson, Missouri? No? You have, Brian? Good.
Yeah, it's where Dolly Parton sings on the stage over there at the entertainment venue.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But you know what? I actually have I know an investor who just bought out there. That's why when you mentioned the name, it does sound familiar. So, no, I mean, you know what? I don't, Mike. I don't know enough of Branson.
You know what I'm finding all over the nation? There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of movement. I think COVID created a lot of movement
Yes.
for people, early retirement, working from home. You see some of the areas in different areas of around the nation, states, whether it be Florida or Texas or um, Arizona, obviously, Murrieta, Temecula, where properties on 1,700 square foot homes are getting overbid by 50 to 80,000, literally. All cash buyers. Personally, I think they should be putting their money into units, but that's another story. But there's a lot of movement out there. Movement I don't think we've ever seen before in the residential real estate market or the market as a whole. And there's a lot of money. So I see that movement. I think that creates opportunities as the population increases for rental properties. I think whether it be Branson or any other city, I would be wary of what the job base is there and what kind of economy they got going, because a lot of these areas in other states, if they don't have the economy to support
Right.
rental and values, nothing else really matters.
Right. And I have discussed that on other meetings that, you have to make sure that there is the job growth, that there's movement and activity. If not, you're kind of, you're not investing in the right place. So we do have to be very careful of that. All right. Anybody else? Well, Brian, thanks for joining. It was nice seeing you.
Yeah, let's talk this week or next and just kind of circle around. Neil keeps calling me, as you know, so.
Well, I'm not there anymore.
I'm not going to go into it. No, I know that. I'm not going to go into that. So
Okay.
anyway, let's chat this week or next, okay?
Absolutely. I'll give you a call. Thanks so much for joining. If no one else has any other questions, or if you guys want to hang out a little and ask me something, I'm here. I'm available. Brian, thank you so much. Take care. We'll talk. And Mike, maybe you can just give me a call and we can talk, since your audio wasn't working. Mr. Jackson, any questions? Sophia, welcome, and thank you for joining. Dawn, Nick, thank you guys so very much.
Thank you. No, I don't have any questions, but I appreciate all the good information.
Thank you. Remember, I do this every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or email me. And I believe you have all my information on the Eventbrite link. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much. Take care.
Good afternoon. Take care.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.